Hey, folks, this episode of Paddle Talk is brought to you by RacingInTheDirt.com. Racing in the Dirt has parts, equipment, and apparel for all your off-road competition needs. Racing in the Dirt has just one mission, and that's to help all of their customers compete at their very best. With over 30 years of motorsports competition experience, they know what it takes to maintain that competitive edge, and they are equipped to keep you there. On-site welding and fabrication, incredible selection of parts, and experience and helpful staff as well. And they're racing in the dirt built chassis, whether you're looking for a full build, turnkey, ready to race, or simply a cage in your existing ride, or maybe a chassis that will be in the foundation of your newest race vehicle. Racing in the Dirt offers it all. You can also contact them about a consultation today. So you can get in touch with them at 920 693 2000. Once again, that's 920 693 2000. Once again, you can get a hold of them by calling them at 920 693 2000. 920 693 2000. And don't forget to check out their website, racinginthedirt.com. That is racinginthedirt.com. And don't forget the UPS Daily. All right, welcome back to another episode of Pal Talk. This is episode 49. Happy Halloween to everybody. And John, what'd you do? You went all crazy on me there. Oh, hold on. That's not John. That's the other Damian. But we'll get to that in a second. I'm Billy Teeters. I'm joined by two mini mooches today. You'll see what I mean in just a second. There's one of them. And we're going to talk about the Last Blast event that just happened at Cleves, Ohio, the Gravelrama venue, IOK four-wheelers. No Isaac again this week, so I'm once again hosting the show. And we dressed up this week since it's Halloween. So happy Halloween, everybody, once again. I know you guys are going to go out and get some candy tonight, so I hope you enjoy yourselves. I'm having a good time-ish, but the suit is kind of uncomfortable. But it's all right.
You're
Can you
douchey.
see anything out of it?
A little bit. I mean, I can't turn. I ain't got no room in this.
We need to get the bit from that one movie. I can't see shit out of this
I
thing.
can't see shit out of this.
Yeah, how does your nuggets feel in there? It's probably a kid suit.
Well, in fact, it is. This is Caden's suit.
So
from
what you're
last
saying
year.
is it's John Sword size.
So,
There you go. I think we should swap costumes.
Yeah. So let's get into this event here. Last Blast, IOK four-wheelers. Damian, how'd it go?
It went great. I had a wonderful time. I had the 395 personal best. Jeep was on rails. Gave it 100 shot, and then I went to 200 shot in second gear, and it was going out the back door.
You're close. Hill drags, we ran 100 shot and then tried 200 and then went to 250 on Saturday to get to the 395 just to make sure I got in that quick 16.
Well, dude, congratulations on the 395. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Fastest pass in the Jeep ever, huh?
So far.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Well, real talk now. Sorg, how'd the event go?
It went good. I mean, Friday night, the hill drag's always kind of fun. It got a little rough. I got a little airborne and got a little sideways, and yeah, it was definitely.
What do you mean you got airborne? What do you mean you got airborne?
I got a little airborne. There formed a bump in the hill, and I ended up launching off of it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Base of the hill, it got a little rougher than usual, but when you're trying to keep a hillside prepped, it can be a difficult job sometimes when you got the 50 cars running. And I ended up having the same issue. First round, the Jeep was had the rear end off the ground more than it had it on the ground.
Yeah, it was a little rough.
But Melissa Reichner, before she got married, Melissa Robbins, Michael Robbins' older sister, got the win on the hill drags in the old Silver Bullet, and J.R. Calvert and his Dreher, big block powered Dreher Alder ended up getting second.
Nice.
And there was only one class on the hill drags on Friday?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, there wasn't enough volunteers for them to split the classes up or to do a quick aid or instant green or anything like that. So
what happened with the volunteers this weekend, Damian? They were shy on volunteers. I noticed like Saturday.
Yeah,
it was scarce.
just some club issues. I'll leave it at that. That's not something to really bring up right now. I just know that,
Oh,
yeah, just some club issues going around.
I did
Okay.
hear that the event was a little more unorganized than usual, but that's okay. You know, you get towards the end of the year and, you know, people get tired. It's okay.
That they do.
And then the club
Yeah.
also has that rule where you can't, like, nobody's forced to work. So maybe everybody was just tired from a long summer. So I get it.
It was still fun. It was just unusually unorganized. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's okay. It happens
For-
sometimes.
Yeah.
For the issues they had, everything went great. Thank you to Justin Dees for being race chairman for the Hill Drags, Jamie
Yeah.
Wallach for being race chairman for the Flat Drags on such short notice. Kelly Baker had to step away a week ago, so they were just kind of thrown on the spot to run the show.
Who farted?
That
Who
was
was
my
that?
phone buzzing.
Oh,
I
whatever.
heard
Don't
that.
you
I was like,
don't
what
you
the hell?
dare
Somebody
blame it on
farted.
anything else, dude.
Try
We
crop
know-
No, if I
dusting.
fart,
know
I'll
fart.
claim it.
Oh,
Somebody was.
all
I
right,
swear
that's-
somebody was trying to crop dust.
Oh no. Well, at least he's an honorable man. He'd claim it if he did.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so on Saturday you guys started out with the kids. We got any results from the kiddos? I don't know.
I did not, because I didn't wake up till they were almost done,
Okay, well I can't look up anything in this damn
and
suit,
they haven't
so
posted anything. So
okay, well no worries. We did post a video of sharp dressed man Marshall Monig. Always love that dragster.
Yes.
That's all we got to report for the kids. We'll find out the results probably soon. I don't know. Either way,
as soon as I
shout out
can,
to
I'll
the
get
kids.
them. I'll get the results so we can put them in the podcast at
There
worst
you go.
next week.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. If not, we'll talk about the season review as we always do. Well,
We'll
not
make it
always,
happen.
first year. Yes, we'll make it happen. So what you guys got going on Saturday? There's 3 classes ran, right?
Yeah, they had the normal bracket, which was split into the fast and slow class. It was a large number of faster cars, not many slower cars, which is normal for Cleves, as the big heavy truck guys tend not to like to come to Cleves because they feel it kills their performance too much, even with it being a bracket race. I'm like, to me,
Kind
that's
of
like,
blows my mind because I
yeah,
run
it's a bracket
tenth
race.
and
As
a
long
half
as your
slower.
truck as long as you're consistent, that's all that matters.
Yeah, as
I
long as
run,
your
I
main
run
bike's
a tenth and a
consistent.
half faster when I go to Cleves than I do it at Silverback, but I still go back. I like it there.
Yeah.
Right. And then, so the split was a 420 and faster.
Ooh.
Which is a faster split than I remember ever.
Yeah, I've seen it down into the 30s at Cleves before, never in the 20s.
That's a lot of cars then, huh?
And it was a decent amount. I don't know the exact car count. And then I've seen earlier this year we did have some 440 splits at Brookville. So the split just keeps getting faster and faster around here as everyone starts building faster and faster equipment.
That's cool.
But the fast bracket, that came down to John Sword and Cody Trice. Cody, they were spraying the hell out of that big blue truck, running 360s all night long, and got the better of John in the finals.
Well, I wish John was here so we could talk to him about it, but unfortunately we just got too many mooches here.
Well, I seen Sorg and he only ran I seen Trice and he ran a 360 in the quick 8, but he's running 4.0 in the fast class.
I thought he was still spraying it in the fast class.
Well, no, I did too at first until I looked at our dial ins when we fired up and I looked over and he was running a 4.0. I'm like, well, that dirty dog. He's not spraying in this class.
He definitely sprayed it. He posted a video of him spraying in
Maybe
the
he was only one kitting it or something.
Overall, though, that was a badass close race you guys had there.
Oh, it was. It was decided by 0.019. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better final.
No. The slow bracket came down to Dale Ansbach and Lincoln Lipsinger, 2 local boys from this area. Dale, he's actually a guy, he built his Jeep to go up to the dunes up in Michigan a lot more than it's built to race, but he's been racing it more and more often as the years, and always a contender anytime he brings it out. And Lincoln, they've started racing the last couple of years with an older truck from this area, old beat up purple Ford step side, and they've been getting better and better with it, him and his dad.
Well, hell yeah. Well, who won that? What else? You had a quick 16 too, right?
Yeah, and the quick 16, that came down to Justin Willis and Rodney Upchurch. Quick 16 class, I believe the slowest qualifier, want to say it was Ryan Wilson at a 402. I could be wrong on that. I have to pull up the ladder and match numbers to names, but
You mean it wasn't the Jeep?
no, I was not the slowest qualifier.
Oh my God. Well, kudos.
But we did get to finish last year's quick 16 in the first round. First round, I drew Craig Gum, who last year we were supposed to run in the finals before Mother Nature finished the night.
Oh, destined to happen. Look at that.
Right. He was dialed in 340. I was dialed in 390. We had a margin of 006.
Ooh.
Nice.
I'll have to get the video to you guys. That was right on the finish line. It's hard to tell who actually got that.
Who won? Who did
I
take
did.
it? You, oh, okay.
And then
okay.
next round, the Jeep slowed down slowed down to a 4.0 on the throttle the whole way through. And Justin, with that buggy of his, that Willis buggy, the old Apple Tree car, that thing is a 380 machine.
Yes, it's
Every
awesome.
pass it made was a 380 or a 381, I think.
That car is very consistent. The former Richard Montiel Top Dog buggy, former Larry Wagner Apple Tree Automotive buggy. That thing is a legend, and it keeps winning. And
Yeah.
Justin
That
should
it
just keep
does.
driving it. Justin should just keep driving it. So, well, cool. Sounds like a great time. Sounds like a great event. Cleves is wrapped up for the year, right?
Yep, Cleves and Brookville are done for the year. I know there's some KOI stuff coming around. I don't know when it is, but I know the KOI Osgood they're doing the North versus South there. I don't know if I'll be there to watch or not. All depends on how I'm feeling and how the weather is. I doubt I'd take the Jeep down. I don't have any tires to run that kind of stuff right now.
For sure. What was that? Was that a burp?
It was.
Why would you do that?
Because it felt good.
But we're on the pod and we heard that.
But it felt good, and everybody should feel good like I felt good.
Well, Damian, that's very rude of you to do that. How dare you? If I burped in this suit, it would stink. You know that?
What'd you eat?
Yeah, it depends on what you ate and if you like
I
it.
haven't burped either way, so that's fine.
Yeah,
But
did you
yeah.
have too much garlic or?
Try it, you might like it.
Neither. I'm definitely sure I ain't farting in here. So
Yeah, right.
well, that was Last Blast at IOK Four Wheelers. The segment was brought to you by RacingInTheDirt.com. Shout out to Racing in the Dirt, located in Cleveland, Wisconsin. Get all your best racing stuff from them, all your Goes Fast parts. We will be right back with our next segment. We will be talking with Willard Hammond of Newtown Dragway when we return. Hey, folks, this episode of Paddle Talk is brought to you by RacingInTheDirt.com. Racing in the Dirt has parts, equipment, and apparel for all your off-road competition needs. Racing in the Dirt has just one mission, and that's to help all of their customers compete at their very best. With over 30 years of motorsports competition experience, they know what it takes to maintain that competitive edge, and they are equipped to keep you there. On-site welding and fabrication, incredible selection of parts, and experience and helpful staff as well. You can search for their products on their website. They have wheel adapters, hub kits, brake hat kits, brake and hub components, suspension parts, air filters, Racing in the Dirt knuckles, axles and parts, Racing in the Dirt chain drives and parts, limiter straps, parachute setups, side-by-side and UTV parts. So you can get in touch with them at 920-693-2000. Once again, that's 920-693-2000. Once again, you can get a hold of them by calling them at 920-693-2000. 920-693-2000. And don't forget to check out their website, RacingInTheDirt.com. That is RacingInTheDirt.com. And don't forget the UPS Daily. Welcome back to another episode of Paddle Talk. Welcome back to the next segment, second segment of this episode of Paddle Talk, episode 49. I took the suit off. John has turned back to John. He's no longer Mini Mooch the second. And Mini Mooch is also here with us. And we are talking with a very, 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 very special guest. It is Willard Hammond, owner, operator of Newtown Dragway, located in Newtown, Virginia. First of all, Willard, first time on the podcast. How's it going, man? Great to have you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. everything's going pretty good. We finished up for the year. We had our last event Saturday night, so.
Well, good deal. Good deal. I know you guys always put on the truck races with the truck list and stuff like that. Not as much with the ATV stuff. We'll get into all that in just a second. But we hope that you've been well. You look good.
Well, thank you.
You've been working out?
No. Just working.
That's for the birds, Billy. Come on.
Well, Willard, let's just go ahead and get right into it then. When did you obtain Newtown Dragway? When did that become official, and how long have you been running it?
Well, I didn't really obtain it. I built it.
Oh.
Yeah. There was nothing but scrubby volunteer growth pines here when I bought the property. I'd been leasing some property from a guy for a couple years down in Saluda. We went infield of a circle track, and me, my dad, my family, we took after it. Decided for some odd reason or another to let's build a place of our own. We looked at where we were paying in lease, and so built a place of our own, and we opened up in July of 2000.
2000, huh?
Relatively a new track.
Yeah, I actually thought it was earlier than that. So the
No.
year 2000 is when you guys opened up, huh?
Yep, we've been here 24 years.
So when Asro came out there, it was very early in the track's lifespan.
Well, I never actually had.
I don't think Asro was ever there.
No,
Asro was gone
I never
before
had been
that.
here.
A bunch of the Asro group went out there. I know that.
All right, let's hear Willard talk here.
Yeah, we had a lot of people from that area, a lot of people from up the Michigan way, and a lot of people that ran the Asro events. I actually talked to them a couple times, but it never materialized. Like I said, back in the early 2000s, before the economy took its first dive that I had to deal with in 08, we had some big events, tried to do one each year, and we had a lot of people from those areas come.
The Beanfield races.
Yeah, that was kind of the nickname everybody around this area put on it.
Yeah.
Because we we started off, just in the fall when the farmers would cut the beans, then we'd go out in the bean field and race 100 yards. So everybody called it the Beanfield races.
Well, that's really neat. I didn't know that's how it got its name. So that's
how it kind of got started in the area. So, and it grew and grew. And, actually when we went to building an official track with a timing system and everything, we kind of, went to using the term sand drags as, proper, but everybody around here still calls it the Beanfield. And it's far from a bean field now, but
yeah.
And
but
I decided to embrace it rather than fight it. So
yeah, it's a great name. It's a fantastic name. But Newtown Dragway is a great name as well. I do remember, I don't remember what year it was. Some of our guys from Missouri actually made it out to Virginia. Jeff Sig, Randy Michaels, some other characters in that, right? And I think that was probably the weekend your track record was set at first before the USA versus Puerto Rico event, which we'll talk about here in a second. But tell us about the first time you had these blower cars show up to your track and just run crazy 2-second numbers. When was that? How was that?
It was probably 2003, 2004, maybe somewhere along there, 5.
That's really cool.
And I do remember the weekend. I do remember the event that you're talking about, and I can't tell you what year it was, but I remember Jeff Sig and all them coming out there, and I think John Dunlop from up Michigan actually set the record.
Yeah.
At a 271.
270 something.
Yeah, 271, 272, something like that.
Sorg, were you there?
I was.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
No, that was an awesome event. We went 2-3 years in a row there.
Mm-hmm.
Heck, that
Yep, Jay
was
Portigo and all them came out.
Yep, remember old Kerry Mahoney from out in Washington going out?
Yeah. Yeah, he was the first one to ever dip into the 2-second zone here.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. And Kerry drove a long way to just to do that too.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, he
wild.
did. He actually stopped out in Michigan, ran our race, and then dropped down to Willard's race the following weekend. So he did a cross country tour.
Dude, that
Yeah.
might have been the same year he came to our track, because I remember there was a point in time he came to our track and set our track record too. That's crazy.
He probably
Mhm.
did.
Yep.
That's nuts.
So yeah, I remember the first time Jay Portico came, it was before he even had the drag, so he was still running. He had the blower motor and the Alton.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how long ago was that?
Yeah, that had to be 05, 04.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a hoot.
It was right after they had his picture on the front of the Sand Times magazine with the car up on one wheel.
Yes.
oh,
Great
was
picture,
out
scary
west.
moment.
Yeah.
Okay, Willard. So let's get into some of these more recent stuff. One of the most famous and well-known events ever known in sand drag history took place at your track. It was the USA versus Puerto Rico race, where we saw the Puerto Rico cars come to USA for the 1st time and compete. And man, that was just such a historical event. Tell us about your thoughts of that event, first of all, of just how awesome it was, and then just how that event was ran and how it even came into fruition.
Well, well, I'll tell you what, yeah, it was, first of all, it was a lot of work. I mean, a whole lot of work. Yeah, I spent about a week down here before we even, before the guys even got here, before just getting ready. But it came to fruition. Victor Lopez had an ATV event here. He came to me and wanted to do an ATV event with the Puerto Rican guys. And he did that the year before. He did that in 18. And he said, then, what about getting the trucks here, getting the cars, the automotive powered vehicles? And I said, absolutely, I'd love to. And that's where it started. So that's how it came to fruition. And so, we spent about 6 or 8 months of planning. And I think he had his event with ATVs the fall of 18. So spring of 19, they were here.
And that race was huge. I think John probably wasn't the only one there. Me and Damian were there. And that was such a freaking banger of a race. The energy,
That was like a reunion.
The energy from that race, and dude, rest in peace, Jeff Tomlin. Jeff Tomlin said it best. The energy from that race needed to be bottled up and passed around to every other sand drag race in the nation after that.
Oh,
because,
yeah.
oh my God, the energy from that race was crazy.
It was great.
And were you there, John?
I was there.
Oh shit!
That's
you
why
were,
I said
yeah.
this is like a reunion. If we were all there, this is a reunion of that race.
I forgot because you were helping Ted
Pat Goodale.
Yeah. I remember that. My bad. So yeah. But yeah, that race was badass. The Puerto Rico cars were badass. First time seeing them. We didn't see them again until we saw them at Gravelrama 50. But having those cars at your track for the first time, for the first time they ever raced in the USA, what did that feel like? Because that had to feel pretty special.
Oh yeah, I mean that was, and I mean, I'd known asphalt cars from Puerto Rico had been here. We'd had ATVs from Puerto Rico, but the first time a sand drag car from Puerto Rico ever hit American soil, yeah, that was, I'm honored by that. It was a privilege, and the thing of it is, to be the first can only happen one time.
Right.
That's something that can't be taken away. So, yeah, that's, I'm honored by that. It was a lot of work. And then you go beyond the Puerto Ricans coming. Let's look at all the different places we had entries from. We had entries from California, Arizona, Oklahoma, Indiana, Michigan, and of course the Midwest, and of course all up and down the East Coast, we had entries from. I mean, from one, I think we had one from Canada, one from Texas. I can remember going through the entries, after the event, just to get a feel of who had been here,
Like
and
I
it
said-
was amazing. It was really amazing.
Yeah, like I said, that event was electric, one of a
Yeah.
kind, and it
Yeah.
it needs to happen again. If anybody wants to come along, it needs to happen again. But anyway, John, Damian, you guys got any questions?
Not a question, but more of a statement of right now when it comes to street legal vehicles in the sand, especially on DOT tires, Newtown is the place to be right now. You've got the former record holder for the ET and current mile per hour record holder, as well as the new ET record holder with that awesome twin turbo LS build he's got.
Oh, that's nice. That is a very, very well engineered vehicle, for sure.
Yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit. Good point, Damian. These truck races you've been putting on, the Beanfield races and all that stuff. How do the trucks get so popular? And then you managed to keep it rolling for so long too. How'd that go? How'd that happen?
Well, that's how we got started here. We're a little out of the loop for, sand drags per se. Let's say it, Midwest out west is where it's big. It's not real big in this area. Back in the 70s, early 80s, East Coast four-wheel drive kind of made it down close to this way a little bit. I think they had one event in Virginia before, up in Columbia, Virginia. And that was really the closest that sand, official sand drag events really made it to this area. I took an interest in it and decided I wanted to try to run with it and let's see what we can do with it. But, when we started off, just, going out in the bean field and stepping off 100 yards and dropping the hat, that's what everybody was racing. Everybody was racing their truck that they hunted in, that they drove everything, the one they used to work on the farm, And that's just where it grew from that, because that was what was popular in this area. And then, let's go 20 years later. And okay, here we are back at the foreign and domestic race again. And here's something that I learned with that. That was a great event. It was a great event. And then, I've already explained how I felt about it, how honored I was, and how great it was. But, that's a once a year event. That one event doesn't keep my gates open. What I got to keep my gates open with are the people that come through it every time they're open. And the street vehicles are what's in this area. Those are the ones that come here. So that's what I had to that's what I got to cultivate. That's what I got to work with. I got to keep those people coming in every event. Every time I swing the gates open, I need those guys here. And those are the ones that are going to be here every time. So that's kind of why that has grown. But it's not just the sand drags too. That type of racing, the street legal vehicles, this drag and drive thing that's gotten real popular in this area. That seems to be what's popular in this area, not only with me at the sand drag track, but the asphalt tracks too. It just seems to be the big thing right now in this area.
Okay, well, we need more dragon drives this
So
across the nation.
And I haven't done that. I haven't done that yet, but we've got a track that's about 2 hours away from us that's been primarily an ATV motorcycle track, and he has started doing the trucks last year. Started last year, and he ran them this year. And he doesn't know this yet, so if he sees this, this will be news to him. I'm going to approach him about maybe doing a drag and drive type thing between here and there.
You're talking about greens, aren't you? You're talking about greens, right?
Yes, screens.
Yeah,
Greens in Virginia.
Yeah,
There's
yes, in Disputana. Yep.
How close is 316 dirt drags to you guys as well?
They ain't real far away, by the way, the crow flies. But we got that thing called the Chesapeake Bay in there that creates a big problem. You either got to go all the way down to, Newport News, Norfolk area and take the bridge tunnel, or you got to go up through darn near to Baltimore or way up into Maryland and come
Okay.
around that way. So
Wow.
it's a good 4 or 5 hours either direction you go.
That's a good drive, though. That's a good dragon drive.
Yeah,
That's about twice
would
what
test them,
Dragweek
wouldn't it?
does.
Well, it'd still
Yeah,
be
but
cool.
they at least they do it with a couple of stops.
Well, stop and get lunch. Stop and get lunch and keep rolling. What was that?
A few years ago, Drag Week came right through Tappahannock. They had one of their checkpoints at a restaurant just outside of town.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was cool. And of course, see, nobody knew it was happening because everything's kept secret. I was coming home from work one day and I see all these race cars going down the road. I'm like, man, this is cool.
I know that they've started up in Michigan they've been doing some street classes, but they allow them to change the tires. And they've been doing some cruises where they do probably a 10-mile cruise for the street legal trucks. So yeah, there's a lot of potential for that out there. And
So Willard, on your
Yes, sir.
top 10, like a Friday night, what goes on your top 10 list Friday night?
Well, it's a call out deal.
Okay.
And that's the way that's done. And I don't require them to drive it in. It's when it started, I didn't do that because I didn't want to put the extra cost of registering and insuring a vehicle on something that
Sure.
they only go drive at the racetrack. But it's got to be a street legal vehicle, full cab, firewall, floor pans, not a cut up lightened vehicle. I mean, let's face it, it don't take a rocket scientist to look at something and tell whether you can drive it on the street or not.
Sure.
I don't require it to be street practical. Street
Just street
the
legal.
big difference between street practical and street legal.
Right.
And
Now,
how many competitors do you end up with for say going after the top 10 lists?
Well, these past 2 seasons, last year and this year, we didn't have any trouble at all. The list stayed full with 10 vehicles pretty much the whole season.
Sweet.
And this past year, on any given night, we could have 2, 3, maybe even 4 trying to get on the list.
That's
wow.
great.
Yeah, we'd have to do a runoff just to get the right to call out the number 10 guy.
That's fun.
Oh, that's dope. That's freaking awesome.
That makes it fun.
Yeah.
And we got trucks on DOT tires now that are running numbers. If you'd have told me this 10 years ago, I'd have laughed at you. I'd have said you're insane. I mean, right now, you better be in the 5.0 zone, if not a 490, if you even want to get on the list.
Wow.
I easily believe that.
That's awesome.
Moving.
Yep.
That's moving. Who had the diesel record before the guy in Missouri took it, Damian? Do you know?
I'd have to go back and look real quick.
Was it somebody in Newtown?
I believe it was a guy in Michigan.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
okay. I think you're right. Okay.
Unfortunately, the diesel record, the guys that want to go for that are they tend to go for the hard pack races.
Yeah, it's Kyle Ash that we had.
Okay, so my question would lead to that is that at our truck event earlier this year at Thunder Valley Sand Drags, we had the guy come out and set the new pure street diesel record. He ran a 452, but he couldn't back up the 452, so it was a 462 with the 2 or 6 or something like that. Are there guys out in Newtown looking at that, trying to get close to that? What's even your number one time on the diesel list? Sorry.
Well, some years back, we had a guy named Taylor Overcash come out of North Carolina, ran like a 482, I believe.
Wow.
And for a while, we were actually running a diesel and gas top 10. We had both lists going. And after COVID and the economy getting we saw the diesel guys drop off real bad. And we've got one guy now that's, they said, well, hey, the list is the list. If you want to try to get on it with a diesel, help yourself. And we got a guy that's on the list right now. I think he's in about in 6th or 7th spot. I wish I had the list in front of me now. I'm apologize for that. With a diesel. And he's been some 490s.
Nice.
Which that's
So
moving because that's a lot of weight to get moving.
Yeah. It is.
yeah, his is a crew cab too. So you
Oh
know,
God.
yes, yeah. So he's toting about an extra 2,000 pounds over what you could have with a. At least that's what somebody told him. They told him if he went to a single cab long bed truck, he could lose about 2,000 pounds.
Now you kind of brought back some regular drag racing this summer, didn't you?
Yes, we
Regular
got back
drag
in there.
bracket. Tell me about that.
Well, actually, we started that last year. And we
Okay.
did a joint thing with Greens last year with the points, and of course, you know, for the last few years, I'd had a lot of people saying that taking some interest in some bracket racing because I love that. I mean, I love bracket racing. That's my thing, you know.
Me too.
And we'd have a event or two a year, and then last year we did a regular schedule. And this year we did a full schedule all year long and actually ran a points program with the bracket races. And
Nice.
it did pretty well. And I was definitely glad to see it come back. And I think everybody really enjoyed it. Had a lot of
Good.
good input on it, a lot of good. And I mean, they're ready. They're ready to come back and do it again next year. So,
Great. I'm glad to hear that.
yeah.
Definitely. Hopefully, I know George Caldwell from our area ended up moving out there and was running the old rapid
Yeah.
transit Jeep in your area.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then he's moved again now. So,
Yeah, I don't know
his wife,
exactly where to right off the top of my head, but it wasn't too awful far.
I don't know. For some reason or other, I want to say Kansas, but I could be wrong. Yeah,
I
you know, his
want to
wife's
say it was New Jersey.
no, that's
Belly's
where he
like
was.
Kansas.
Yeah, no, that's where he was when he was coming down here.
Okay.
Well, no, he was out in Fort Belvoir in Northern Virginia. So maybe it was New Jersey. That does ring a bell for some reason.
But you got one of our heavy hitters from over the years in your area, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, he did good. I know, but yeah, his wife's in the military and she got transferred, so he had to go. Yep.
Part of it.
Yep. Yeah, I spent a few years in the service, so yeah, I know how that goes.
What
Yeah, a
service
lot of
did you?
military down there.
Yes. Yep.
Well, Willard,
So,
I don't have much questions for you. You guys got anything else for Mr. Hammond?
I think I'm good.
Well, I just want to say I greatly appreciate your time on here, and you guys did have a point series this year, correct?
yes, we did.
Okay, we'll get into those points and stuff in another episode, and
Okay.
it's just nice to have you on and talk about the track and whatnot because Newtown Dragway, as Damian said, fairly new track, but it definitely has a bunch of history. One of the most exciting events of all sand drag racing history took place at that track, and I'm definitely looking forward to find a good reason to get back out there, and I hope everybody else is too.
I definitely wish the track was about 6 hours closer to home.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm kind of out of the loop. I apologize for that.
It's a beautiful venue, wonderful hook, and definitely has the potential to be one of the fastest tracks in the country.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, thank you.
And it's just beautiful. And plus, we got to talk about your new timing system. You got new lights a couple of years ago, fancy, nice blue lights and scoreboards and stuff. How'd you even get? How'd that come about? Something crazy happened, right?
Well, yeah, yeah, I upgraded everything, and the scoreboard. Well, they actually red LEDs.
Okay.
No, but actually, I had lightning get a bunch of stuff.
Ooh.
It wasn't
Lightning?
real. Yes, it wasn't long after the Puerto Rican race.
Oh.
And it didn't happen during an event when everything was all hooked up. So we figured it had to. The only thing that was plugged in was the power cords for the computers. So we figured it had to have come through the ground side on that. It got two of my computers. It got my main portrait timing box, the big gold box,
Oh,
scoreboards, a number of different things. And of course, while I was at it, I just went ahead, I upgraded everything.
Seems
Yeah,
like the best time to.
yeah, it did cost me about $6,000, but
right,
at least it happened in 19 before the economy went to pot. So
right.
I guess so, yeah. That's a good way to
Yeah.
look at it, right?
yeah, and of course we were shut down in 20. The state of Virginia had us shut down in 20 during COVID.
Wow.
Uh,
And that was a kicker. But I'm still here. I survived it.
Yes, you
A
are.
lot didn't.
And
A lot didn't.
we like to see you still alive with that track because that thing is awesome. That track is awesome. That place is awesome. Like I said, definitely looking for a good reason to get back there. I want to see some of those trucks. I want to see some good bracket racing again. You just said you guys had an ATV race just this past weekend, right? Trying to
Yes,
bring the
yes, we
ATV
did.
trying to bring the ATV stuff back a little bit. I know you've been struggling with it a little bit.
Yeah, the after COVID, the ATVs fell off right bad. I don't know why, but I have learned in the years of doing this that things run in cycles, and sometimes you just got to accept it. I guess the thing is too, kind of pay attention to what's going on and be prepared for whatever's going to happen next, so you can roll with it. But we had a good. The last two events this year, the one before last, we had a real good turnout. Gosh, we were kind of surprised and unprepared turnout, but we got it done. And this past weekend, we had a good turnout and had a bunch of guys show up out of New Jersey.
nice.
Yeah, just out of the blue, they showed up. It was, I believe they were Puerto Rican. We had definitely had a language barrier problem there. But we got through it. Everything went well, and I guess it was 7 or 8 of them. Man, they had them all packed in one trailer. I mean, they had them packed in there, buddy. And they occupied 3 of the final 4 spots. So evidently they'd done some bracket racing before.
That's cool.
So they occupied the winner, runner up, and one of the semifinalists was out of that bunch. So their trip to Virginia was good to them.
Got it rough,
Definitely.
sounds like.
Yep. And very nice people, very appreciative of everything we did. So that's always nice.
Fun.
That always makes you feel good.
Well, Willard, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Paddle Talk. You can find everything Newtown Dragway is doing on their Facebook page, Newtown Dragway. Find them on Facebook. And is there, Willard, before we leave, do you want to give thanks or shout out anybody that's helped you along the way?
Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, first of all, I want to thank my crew and everybody that comes in here and puts up with me, a couple times a month, 3-4 times a month, Yeah, I couldn't do it without them. I couldn't do it without a good crew. I've had 2 people that are new to the scene with me this year. Sandra Fontaine and David Fontaine is a husband and wife. She works the computer up in the tower. And I originally hired her to do that job, and her husband came along with her and started playing with the mic and the PA system and stuff, and I ended up getting an announcer out of it too. So
Look at that.
that worked out pretty good. But where they have really helped me is with the social media thing. She is real good with the Facebook and the social media stuff. And I guess y'all have probably noticed that the Facebook page has been way more active this year.
For sure.
Well,
I did.
That's because of her. It won't me. and of course, my family too. My wife, she sticks with me and puts up with me through this. And of course, she helps out at the track and she stands behind me too. And of course, my father, which from the conception of this thing, he has supported me and helped me in any way possible. Well, we lost him last year. He passed away March of last year.
Tell him how old he was.
96.
Wow.
And he was driving water truck. Up
Yep.
till the last season.
He was involved every event right up to the end.
Amazing man.
And, I miss him
Sounds like
terribly. I miss him terribly.
Well,
Yep.
we feel for you. Sorry for your loss. Rest in peace.
Thank
That's
you.
That's I never, my dad's still around, so I don't know what it feels like yet. I know John definitely feels your pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
you guys, having your dad, dads are important. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I'm sure him and my mom's passed away too. She passed away the year before. And I'm sure they're looking down on me now. I'm almost probably sitting there saying, "You didn't mention me."
I remember her too.
So you made sure you got her in there.
So I
Yeah.
make sure I better get her in there. So because she was a big part of it too.
I remember her too. She was great.
Yep. Out there racing the station wagon.
I think she was the first person that ever took my money there.
Probably.
Yep, at the gate.
Yep.
That's
Probably.
Awesome. That's awesome. Well, hey, Willard, thanks again. We'll have you back on to talk about a season recap with Newtown. We just wanted to get an introduction to you and show you to our audience and whatnot. So thanks once again for joining us on this episode.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed it.
All right, everybody, don't go anywhere. As always, this segment is brought to you by racinginthedirt.com. Coming up next, we're going to be talking to Jeff Guillot, maybe Ricky Thorpe, and Kyle Wiedmeyer about the Pro Sand Drag Association race that happened down in Gilbert, Louisiana. Hey, folks, this episode of Paddle Talk is brought to you by racinginthedirt.com. Racing in the Dirt has parts, equipment, and apparel for all your off-road competition needs. Racing in the Dirt has just one mission, and that's to help all of their customers compete at their very best. With over 30 years of motorsports competition experience, they know what it takes to maintain that competitive edge, and they are equipped to keep you there. On-site welding and fabrication, incredible selection of parts, and experience and helpful staff as well. And they're Racing in the Dirt built chassis, whether you're looking for a full build, turnkey, ready to race, or simply a cage in your existing ride, or maybe a chassis that will be in the foundation of your newest race vehicle. Racing in the Dirt offers it all. You can also contact them about a consultation today. So you can get in touch with them at 920-693-2000. Once again, that's 920-693-2000. Once again, you can get a hold of them by calling them at 920-693-2000. 920-693-2000. And don't forget to check out their website, racinginthedirt.com. That is racinginthedirt.com. And don't forget the UPS Daily. Welcome back to another segment of Paddle Talk. I got back in the T-Rex suit for this one. We are joined by Jeff Guillot and Kyle Wiedmeyer, and we may be joined by a member of the Thorpe family soon. I don't know. And other than that, we're going to talk about the Pro Sand Drag Association race that happened in Gilbert, Louisiana, Northeast Louisiana Sand Drags just a couple weeks ago. And we're going to start with the owner of the track, Jeff, who looks a little different today because this is Halloween. Jeff Guillot, how was the race? And you look different.
Does my hair look okay? I'll see you, K-Dub.
What are you doing, K-Dub? What was that?
Nothing.
He's gonna get a little snapshot.
Absolutely nothing.
He's dropping a teaser is what he's
Oh
doing.
yeah, exactly. Hey, what's funny is when the girl gets to put his glasses on so he can see.
There you go. Those glasses fit that mask pretty well.
Oh yeah, they're good.
Dude, they actually do. You see all right there? I bet you.
Yeah.
I bet that mask is still a lot better than this suit though. So
Probably.
yeah. Well, back to the question. Ricky just texted me and said he's still driving, so maybe he'll join us soon. Jeff, how was the race for you before we get into too much other stuff? How did the race go from the early days to the end of it?
The race actually, I'm gonna say K-Dub probably can join in on this, but that second tractor helped tremendously a lot.
Yeah, we pumped. Yeah, the second tractor was awesome. It was just pumping bikes through, and then all of a sudden, you just two tractors roaming down, and then it's kept running again. They worked out really well.
Yeah, everything went pretty good. I think, and the wife's sitting here, and I may have to ask her a couple questions. But like, Kim, how many did we end up having? And I should have that wrote down, probably right here in front of me. But I think we had 150 exactly, if I remember right, Tuesday. No, excuse me, Thursday, and we had 166 racers Friday, and then Saturday I didn't count them up. We had so much going on, but so I'm gonna say we had somewhere around that 150 on Test and Tune the second day. Not for sure about the first, but we was short a few racers, and I think that probably was in the Puerto Rican community. We had just as many trailers, actually a couple more, I think, trailers than we had last year. So all in all, I mean, I think the race was a good turnout. It wasn't too big, and it wasn't too small. You know what I'm saying? We with the second tractor, actually on Saturday night, I told James when we started running the finals, I said, okay, it's really too late to try to run 150 or 60 bikes through for Test and Tune, because it was getting around 9:30, 9:40 when we started the finals. And I told James, I said, just every time you run a final, I said, just drag the track. I want everybody to have a good track. You know, I didn't want anybody to complain about, you know, having ruts. So we drug the track every round between the finals, and that did drag it out a little bit, but I mean, the race got done in a timely manner. I mean, we never run. I don't think we run past 11 o'clock. None.
No, it
That
wasn't
was
like
my
a year
next.
in
That
the
was
past where you'd be racing like 3 or 4 a.m. I mean,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
perfect. We were all done by 11 o'clock and had time to hang out. I mean, it was just about perfect. Started
Yeah.
on time every morning at 11 o'clock or noon, whatever time we were
Yeah.
starting. I mean, it went pretty smooth.
dude. Well, that's really glad to hear, because I was going to get into what the time difference was, because my first time going to Gilbert, it was we had to stop at midnight and then pick up where we left off the next day.
Yep.
But it sounds like you didn't have to do that at this race.
No, everything went pretty smooth. We usually have and I know you wouldn't really think this, but 3 years ago we put all new bearings on our do-all roller, and the first day we had a bearing go out, and I mean we put all new ones all the way across. And I was like, you just can't think ahead. And but this year with the two rollers, I think we had a 1 U-bolt break, and we had to park it for about 25 minutes or so, 30 minutes to get it fixed. And I think the other one had one bolt come loose, and it took about probably 20 or 30 minutes to fix it. But all in all, everything held together good. Didn't have any water truck trouble or the water pump on the big 6,000 gallon tank. We didn't have any trouble with it. Year before last year, we ended up having to get a gas engine to put on the back. I had a brand new hydraulic driven 2-inch water pump, and the O-rings messed up. But old Dan Nine Highs to the rescue. Him and Mark tore it apart and fixed it, and we got it back going the next day.
Dan saving the day, Dan dealing Dan.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Shout out to Dan, shout out to Mark for that. So we'll kind of go day by day here. Let's start with Tuesday. Well, we'll do Tuesday and Wednesday together at the same time. Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll save the David Turner stuff for the end. Tuesday and Wednesday, what kind of passes were you seeing? Something fast off the trailer? Just how was the track looking? How was the bikes looking first 2 days out?
So I think Tuesday the track was a little better than Wednesday, and I was a little bit scared to put too much water into it. But we ended up, I think Tuesday was probably a better day. Wednesday, K-Dub, I tell you, the dang wind went to blowing. The flag was ripping all day long. It was in the 80s, and we was putting water down every 30 minutes all day long. And right before dark, I probably should have put out another couple of passes, and I was a little bit worried, but we got everything I think by Wednesday, the tracks, come around, got it where we wanted it. But, and, it hadn't rained here in, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks since the hurricane come through, and that's been a while.
So that kind of played a factor in how to prep the track, obviously, because you don't really know you had a pretty good idea how to exactly prep it, but it's just hard to do it with how dry it is.
Yeah, it just took us a little bit of time to get the moisture back in the track like we wanted. But after Tuesday, and I think it done fairly well Tuesday, but Wednesday we just fought the wind, and then Thursday, and I know I'm just getting ahead, but Thursday the wind laid down and the track come around, and then Friday and Saturday the wind picked back up again, but we just kept pouring the water in it. We kept it. Before, probably 2 hours before dark, the dirt would be trying to stick to the roller. So if you got the dirt trying to stick to the roller a couple hours before dark, it's going to be good after dark.
For sure. KW, you got anything to add to those?
For Tuesday and Wednesday, I think for like us, I was a little hyper focused with like my group, like Sean Roth, and then like watching the Bennetts and everything. We all had our typical Tuesday, Wednesday struggles. I was running my 350. Just laying down some 4-3 passes, and just typical testing too, and nothing really else to report.
Well, let's talk about what happened on Thursday with you and entering that 420 index. Let's start right there, K-Dub. What happened?
So Thursday's index day, so we got all our indexes, so pretty much everyone's racing against each other, and then not bragging or anything, but I might have took home the 4-2 index championship here.
Yeah, look at that.
My little 350 running 4.35, just waxing people on the tree.
Show that plaque again.
Hold on, right here. And then, like a mark, I definitely went over to Lone Star and bought another plaque.
Hold on, they can't.
Big old Greg and Michelle. So I got that plaque sitting right up there on my shelf. I'm not moving my computer over there. But Thursday is always one of the better days of PSDA. It's all the index races, so everyone's racing everybody. And then let me think about what was going on. I saw a bunch of bikes I liked, like the Dune Toys triple Super Cub, which I've never seen a triple Cub ever run a good number. Those guys are running 3.2s. I mean, it was amazing. They're out of Oklahoma, and then out of my camp, Stephanie Roth in the Drag Star taking second place in 32 bike field and the 3.8 index. Our buddies over in Four Strokes, Cole Pominville, I think his name is. He won 3.6 index. And I don't remember who won. Hey, Jeff, who won the Open, the 319 and faster?
Okay. Jaden got first, and
okay.
I'm going to screw this up, but it's going to be Jose.
Oh, is that a Miller's bike?
888.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But Jaden won it. Jaden, that triple they were running. I mean, they ran a 298, I think, the last couple days. I mean, they were flying.
Yeah. So, Jeff, do you have all the results there?
I do.
Whoa. Okay. So, tell us who won these index classes.
Okay, on 319 and down, Jaden, and I don't want to mess this up, but it's Jose, so I'm saying that's Jose, and Dejesus. So
De Jesus or something like that. I know I'm messing up.
Jose De Jesus.
I recognize the name.
Okay, and then on the 320 and 339. That Jose won first on a different bike, and Gavin Briggs won second.
Okay, that's a Dune
340
right there.
Yeah, 340 to 359. Andreas Hernandez got first, and Angel Castillo from out west got second on our
Tyler Hart's bike.
Yeah, 360, 379. Cole Pomneville and got first, and then Dave Sahlberg, I believe that's how he says that, got second. Or 380. This is a different one. I don't want to mess this up. It's Hovis or Hovis, Hovis, Hovis Surasy. And then Stephanie Roth.
Oh, yeah, right there.
Oh, yeah. She come in second. Then our 4-0, Greg Boyette and that Hovis Surasy again got second. Let me turn this off.
Busy man, popular man.
Then the 420, the 439, I think somebody's done showed us the plaque, so we know Kyle K-Dub got that one,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Alex Smith got second. So that takes care of the index classes. But index, we had it brought up in the drivers' meeting about the bracket race, and it's just no way at this particular event to get the bracket and the index in. And I let everybody put it to a vote at the drivers' meeting, and I think there was 2 hands that was raised that said they'd rather bracket, and everybody else to see, said they wanted index. So I guess I love index racing. I do.
Well, index racing is awesome. Totally understand that you can't make time for the bracket race. We are being joined by a very special guest. Along with Jeff Guillot, we have the rider of the Drag Star, Stephanie Roth, joining us, because apparently Ricky is still driving, and she actually was fast enough to click on the link and hop on here. So that's awesome. Steph, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
We're doing good. Your connection may be faulty.
I heard it pretty good. We were just talking about our second place in 3.8 index. How are you feeling about that?
I'm still pretty pumped about that.
32 bikes. That was a good payday. I saw the check.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I wasn't complaining.
The old drags are tried and true. We've been around for 12 to 13 years, and then just still pass after pass after pass, 385, 386, 385, just waxing people at the tree.
Yep, the OG bike. I'm glad we brought it.
Oh yeah, this is the only thing holding the weekend together for our crew.
Well, other than the 4-2 champ over here.
Oh, you mean this one right here?
Yeah, he's not bragging Steph at all, not none.
No,
he definitely hasn't brought it up at all. So
So we're basically just talking about index day right now. We got through our testing 2 days, so we're just kind of going day by day. So we're kind of wrapping up Thursday right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Steph, we'll start with you real quick. How we're like K-Dub said, we started with Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. The first 3 days of that PSDA race in Gilbert, how did those first 3 days go for you and Sean?
We had both days we ran both bikes 3 times in test and tune. We were fighting some fuel issues on the new bike. So we got one decent pass out of that one. But the OG Dragstar bike was killing it. Just on the number every time, just
tried and true. Pass after pass.
That bike, I'd like to know how many passes that bike's made down the track.
a lot. This was the 13th season on that bike.
Oh yeah.
And y'all race it a lot too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
How many motor combinations do you think's been in that chassis?
It's many.
At
least 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to Friday here real quick. K-Dub, limited day is on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Give us a quick overview of how Friday started and how.
So I was pretty drunk on my 4.2 win, so I was getting into 425 of my sock frame 350. Like I should be able to get a round or two. I'm just that great of a racer. So I lined up next to Kevrin in 425. I'm in the first row. Kevrin. I'm looking at her like she's gonna dominate me. I look behind me, 2 bikes that are gonna dominate me, and I'm like, should I just move to the back?
Like he's talking about Kevin Slater, Killer Kev. Yeah. If you guys don't know who he's talking about, killer all over the ATV drag racing scene.
Oh yeah, she's awesome. So I was just like, man, am I just gonna get waxed by her, or should I just go in the back? Would they notice? Would they talk shit if I just go into the back? But I stayed put. I ran my first round. They drove completely around me, and I was like, well, the 425 dream's over. And then I just pushed the bike off to the side, and then I just took a bunch of videos, hung out with Sean and Steph. That's pretty much how my Thursday went.
You mean Friday?
Friday.
Oh, Friday. I'm sorry, Friday. I don't even know what days anymore.
They were still drunk.
Yeah.
Well, Steph, how did your Friday go?
Friday, K-Dub and I weren't even going to end up racing on Friday, but Nick Bennett talked us into running those classes on Friday.
You just talk shit to us Thursday night. Like, you're gonna run, right? We're like, I guess.
And
Great
so
tactic.
he peer pressured us into joining those classes, and I'm not expecting to go anywhere, but ended up in the semi quarterfinals, I think, of that class.
Yeah, cool. You're fifth bike, so yep, you're right.
Yeah, 525.
Out of like over 25 bikes, I want to say.
Yeah, 25 bikes in that class, and I mean we were way overweight and
a little under motored.
Well, you still win there swinging for the fences and still ended up in the top 5. That's pretty good,
Yeah.
especially when you consider world's fastest is there. So
yeah, I was happy with that.
well, Jeff, what did you have for us for Friday? Who's our winners here?
Well, I can tell you this. Wasn't me, because I got like 3 thirds this week. Or like that week. Let's see, full plastic. I can't read the wife's writing here. Santiago is his last name. You know who that is, K-Dub?
No, I don't. I know a couple of the bikes I really like.
Yeah,
like,
it's
Panther
one of the
Battle
and then
too, unfortunately.
then Luis, I guess they call it Colin.
Okay.
That's second place. Let's see. Next class would have been class 11, single cylinder, small block, 0 to 540. Cole Pomneville got that one again.
Here we go.
And Stevie Manley got second.
Okay.
Then this small block 541 and up. Matthew Cicelli got first, and Andreas Hernandez got second. The big block 0770. Matthew Cicelli won that one, and Cole Pomneville got second. The 771 and up, Matthew Cicelli got first, and Andreas Hernandez got second. And
Those Sally's, they broke a record, did they not?
I think so. I usually let Krista and Nick answer all the messages on the PSDA site. I always let them answer all the messages, and then after they read them, I'll go in and see. But I've been pretty busy since the races trying to get everything done. The 381 to 452 stroke, Parker Mooch, and it's not showing a second place here. I'm going to have to ask the wife about that one. And I know it made, but I don't know why we don't have a second place. The single cylinder, or the single and CVT twin 4-stroke and 2-stroke open. Michael Cicelli and Matthew Cicelli. So we got a first and second. I've got a pretty good sized FedEx envelope that's got to be sent out to the Cicellis, because they didn't pick up none of their money. They left and went and drove on in.
Oh wow.
Let's
Playing
see.
victories, worry about the money later.
Oh yeah. Twin cylinder, 0425. Trey Allen got first, and Aiken Allen got second.
Yep, I'm Trey on the Miller bike.
Yep.
And he's running good.
The 50525, Dale Sahlberg and Dustin Stewart got second. The 0650 is Jose Luis and Jade Muchmore got second. 775, K2 Caesar riding K2 Caesar Cadero, and then Luis Garcia got
Shout out to
second.
Caesar. Caesar's
Yeah.
a killer.
Oh, yeah.
He
He's
can
good.
ride. He's good. 0900 spreadboard class, K2 with Caesar again, and Angel Castillo on bike 15X. Whose bike was he riding? Do you remember, K-Dub?
Tyler Hart, I think. So it was
Okay.
Oka Motor and Tyler Hart out in Arizona.
Yep. The open twin, K5, Jaden Muchmore, and then K2 Caesar. So K&T took first and second on the open.
Sure, Jaden and Caesar ranting each other 100 times.
Oh yeah. You know, the way we were spinning the wheel, you could line up, behind your buddy, and it seemed like the way we spin it, it makes it a little bit easier. Used to, we line up all 6 lanes and spin the wheel, but trying the way we're doing it with 6 lanes, you can pull a class into 2 lanes and another class into 2 lanes and another class into 2, and just spin the wheel odd and even. So if you and Stephanie's behind each other and you're both in lane one and it spins and hits odd, both of y'all, you know, you run each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
we're pretty good.
Yeah, it just speeds it up.
Mm-hmm.
We used to try to do just like the NHRA and get out there and line everybody up in the dark, and
which that was always a nightmare
yes.
because you were in the back and then no one would be paying attention. You couldn't get the bikes, you couldn't get the pairing, and it would just be a chaos.
That was a mess. So the triple 3-cylinder 01325 non-spread. So K1 Jaden much more got that one, and Gavin Briggs come in second on that one. The open CC and CVT. Jaden won that one on K1, and that's going to be a Miller bike. Looks like Joe.
Oh, okay, that's Joe Sean. He's a rider from the streets that they brought in after Blake got in that wreck, unfortunately.
And I apologize on some of these names. That's like that's like somebody trying to say Guillot and don't know who I am. If they're looking at the name, it don't work.
Oh yeah, my name's the same way.
And the CVT class, the twin and triple 2-stroke 01325. Andrew Bishop got first and Mason Newman got second. 4-cylinder open.
How many classes did you all run on Friday?
Oh, there's a lot of classes at the PSDA.
Sounds
A
like
bunch.
And then people will ask for more too.
Oh yeah.
Gotta have a cutoff somewhere.
So you got Misty Barton got first. She's I can't really remember. She spanked me like 3 times that week.
I got it on video once where she just drove completely around you.
Look, I said when I sold that bike to Eric that those tires that I sold with the bike is the tires that I always liked because they were a big rollout and you get plenty of mile power.
Mm-hmm.
And I've tried a set from Paul. I've tried a couple more sets I've got, and I need to get off here tonight and call Paul. And I know what carcass I need. I just need to get some more tires before Dome Valley. It just them the short hookers. We can't run a mile an hour.
You need to get a hold of Nick and just have him steal those tires for you.
yes.
To see if Eric notices.
Hey, Eric would never know. So Misty got first, and Charlie Smith got second on Blood Money.
Did you see if Blood Money ran good or not? I didn't see any passes.
He run, if I'm not mistaken, I think he run a couple of 3.0s. I'm not for sure the exact number, and because I'm not standing up there every time.
Yeah.
But I think he did.
That's like my favorite bike out there. Is just some monster 4-cylinder Banshee that's either going to go or just shoot out a transmission.
That's the Blood Money's not a 4-cylinder snowmobile.
No, it's a
4-cylinder Banshee
with transmission.
That's insane.
And Charlie's just banging. There's an air shifter, so Charlie's just banging away at shifting over the button. It's crazy.
So if I remember right, Rick got one with Tim Bond.
And then Mattoon had one.
Keith Mattoon's got one, and if I remember right,
there's another one somewhere.
Yeah, there was one that went to Missouri, and I think it ended up. I was trying to think of the guy's name. I'm friends with him on Facebook, but
in Missouri,
I think he ended up selling it. I'm not for sure where it went.
Are you talking about Missouri?
It was always on eBay for the longest time with some insane price tag, but I just always would notice it.
Yep.
The one you sold? Are you talking about the bike you sold to the Missouri guy? Jeff?
No, this was a 4-cylinder that was built at the same time that Blood Money was built and Mattoon built his. There was 3 sets, I think only 3 sets of cases. May have been 4 sets of cases. Mattoon would have to answer that question, but I'm gonna think of that guy's name in a minute. We'll be in the middle of something else, and I'm gonna call his name. But I don't know. He had it for a little while, and then I think he sold it. I don't know where it went, but I've never seen it back out. Somebody may have it for parts.
I'm pretty sure I heard Stephanie and Sean talking about they were going to build a 4-cylinder.
You know, and
I heard that too.
I'm not for sure that if a K&T didn't have one and never put it together.
Aren't you going to buy one, Steph?
Oh yeah, we're just adding that to the list.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you can put it in the extreme car.
There you go.
That'd be sick.
Go
All right.
straight.
Well, Jeff, is that it for Friday?
Yes, that's it. That takes up Friday.
All right. Was Friday the days that we saw the 2-second passes, or was that Saturday?
Saturday.
That was Saturday. Okay, let's
Yep.
get right into Saturday. Kato, give us an overview of Saturday.
Saturday's unlimited day, so that's nitrous backfire day. Not that I've seen any nitrous backfires, and if
Oh,
I did,
God,
I
don't you
definitely
start
not
this
immediately
outrage.
report it anywhere. And I definitely didn't see a single cylinder backfire out of Texas. I'm not just being generic. I did not see a backfire. I swear I did not see a backfire. So I want that on the record first thing first. I did not see one all weekend, and if I did, I wouldn't have took a video of it. So Saturday unlimited day. I didn't run much, but that's where you saw the triples. The Miller triple running the 293 at 107 mile an hour, which is wild. And then K&T right afterwards running at 298, and it was the saddest 298 I've ever seen in my life. It's because they knew how fast Miller was. So it's going to be insane. The years coming forward, but you know K&T's not going to let that sitting. Not gonna let that sit. So they're gonna be going after it next year. Let's see what else. Mocha and Miller were going at each other the whole time. K&T, Miller, Mocha, they were all going after each other. It was pretty awesome to see. And then you had weight class with, how many bikes are in weight class? Like 25, 30? It was a lot.
19. There was 19.
19? Yeah, it was a good amount. And then the weight class is always a good one where there's a top 10 list, and the fast number 1 on the top 10 list is like a 70, and then number 10 is a 76 or 77. That's how tight the field is. I mean, it was a good day of racing.
Absolutely. Steph, you do any racing on Saturday?
I ran the weight class with the red Dragstar bike. We were super overweight for that class.
To the point where Ricky Carroll wasn't weighing it anymore. He's like, "You're good, Steph."
Gonna break his back, a poor guy. But that was a really tight class. I mean, everybody was running within like a tenth and a half of each other. And there was a few people that got on the list. One being Brian Kane. I'm not sure the list before, but he jumped up the list to the number 2 spot with a 71.
Ooh.
Just knocking on the door.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
I don't think he was on the list till that week.
Yeah,
it might have been his first race trying to go at. I might be completely wrong, but it might be his first race trying to go after the list. So, but he won the whole class.
He's a real nice guy. First time I'd met him, I think I may have had been around him up in Oregon when we went up there, but no, I got to talk to him a few minutes. He's a nice guy. Him and his wife both.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Jeff, how did your Saturday go? Before we get into the results, how did your Saturday go?
Oh, got another third. Look, I guess we need to start paying out first, second, and third, at least $1 so I can get a plaque.
Yeah.
No, Saturday was windy for sure again, and we fighting. We was just pouring the water. I don't know how many thousands of gallons we put in that track that week, but it was probably, I'm gonna say 200 and something thousand gallons of water. That water tank is 6,000 gallons at a time.
200,000 gallons? That's a lot.
I would not be scared to say that we done that, because I know from Thursday we started putting water in the track Thursday before the race, and we put it in every day. I put out I think 36,000 gallons the first day. That was just on Wednesday, and then we done the same Thursday and the same Friday, and then we started, just really putting it in the evening time late. But we done put we probably put more than 200,000 gallons, because we was already at 100 before the race started.
Yeah, I noticed the water truck was out there a whole bunch. Like before weight class, the water truck was always out there. You definitely put a lot of water in it.
Yeah, and we was having to, and Steele had some complaints Wednesday, because the track was a little bit light, and the wind was just really tearing us up Wednesday. We was having a hard time.
You'll never make everyone happy though.
Well, not a lot of tracks put in the time and effort to get the track prep right, exactly like you do, Jeff. And you surely do a good job of it. I know all these racers see it and they surely appreciate it. Just the track prep that you do is a lot different than everybody else, just because you have the equipment and you have the surface to make it all work. And it definitely draws for some fast passes once you got it all put together.
Well, look, if Stephanie's gonna come down after 11 years, I got to make sure she got something to run on.
Steph, 11 years since you've been to Gilbert. What's up with that?
I know it's been 11 years. Sean has been down a few times since then, but
It's called Kids.
kids, they will do that to you.
I thought it was Sean's fault for some reason. I guess it might have been Sean's fault. You know.
Yeah, we can put on him.
I don't think Sean's been down. I think we was talking about that, Stephanie. Sean hadn't been down since 16 when my accident.
Yep. Yeah, I think you're right.
I think I scared him away for a few years.
Well, we still got a few more things to talk about here. Show us some of these results from Saturday, Jeff.
Okay, I don't know how many kids on the kids class. I don't know how many kids we had, but Tim Jones's grandson Jeremiah got first. I apologize. I know there was more, and we don't have a second place showing. The 10 to 12-year-old got Jonathan Riviera, and looked like Cruz Luddink. Does that sound right, K-Dub?
I don't recognize the name, but I don't know. I might have seen the name before, but I not recognize it.
15-year-old had Ace Deshard and Drake Deshard, so looked like we got some siblings.
Okay.
I think your dog's mad about getting the names wrong.
He's probably looking for that. Stephanie missed out a while ago. This is what I had on Stephanie.
Oh, I sent her a picture.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the weight class. So yeah, Brian Kane got first, and Chase Williams got second.
Third place, drag star.
Huh?
Third place, the drag star.
Okay. Single cylinder CVT 4-stroke twin. Looks like Mason Newman got first and Lane Gibson got second. Saturday don't have as many classes, but it always takes as long to run Saturday's classes as it does Friday. It just does for some reason. Nitrous, everybody's heating bottles. On to the twin, the 0650, Jade Muchmore on K5 got first against Misty Barton. 775 class, Jose I'm gonna mess that up. Jose DeJus again, and Luis Garcia got second. 900 class, Angel Castillo and Luis Garcia. The open twin, Luis Garcia got first, and Jaden Muchmore got second. And I think he was running Willis's bike. I think Jaden was on Willis's bike.
Yeah, I think Jaden always runs Willis's nitrous bike, and
Yep.
that bike I think ran like a 306 or something pretty.
Yeah,
fast.
run pretty good number. I do remember that.
But it was cooking.
Then the 0 to 1325 non-spread, Jaden won on K1, and Joshua Al.
Yeah, on Miller's bike, so the Miller
Okay.
triple. So that
I might get Tony to school me on some of these names.
we need to almost like write down the camps, like the jockey name and then the camp, so like who was racing who. But
Yeah.
that was I think Miller's 293 bike, and then versus K&T's. I think that was K&T's 298 bike. That was
Hey, if I had my computer in here out of the office, all I got to do is punch in the name, and the bike number tells me who it is, who owns the bike.
yeah. And I should have done a better job keeping track of that too. I feel it's something where Ricky's here, he did rattle off the top of his head.
So the triple class, the 01325, Jaden got first on K1, and Joshua.
Yep, Miller bike.
Yep, I'm gonna screw that up again. I guess that's on Miller's bike. So
Yep.
just say Miller Camp got that, so he got second. And the open CC and CVT, that Joshua Almeida and Cesar Cordero got second.
Okay.
4-cylinder.
I wonder who won.
Well, Misty Barton won.
Huh.
I can't believe somebody must have broke for me to get second. If somebody had to broke for me to get second, maybe Rick broke. I don't know.
Possibly.
Or maybe they wrote that. Maybe the wife wrote that down wrong. Felt sorry for me. I don't know. Okay. The CVT Unlimited did not make. Open CVT, so that would have been the triple twin CVT 01325. So that's one of them classes we could have run the Z1s in. But the open CVT, Misty Barton and Ladarius Hux got second.
Okay.
Um,
I remember Paul had a bike out there. I don't know who was running it though. And I think I know that bike. I think I know who that is, but I'm not being too helpful right now.
Didn't Mason Newman ride for Paul this weekend?
Yeah, he did. I don't know how well they did though.
I know Paul had to put some pistons in one night, but those nights
all strap his head down like he did a year past.
Yeah. So the UTV Open, Jaden Muchmore won first, and Jace Gibson got second. Unlimited Open.
Running a 3-1. That thing was flying.
Yeah, 314. That is huge.
Yeah.
I wish they would have backed it up to get that world record back in the States, but man, that's 314.
Well, I think even the guys come down from Michigan were fighting the same thing that KNT is they're used to running at a little more altitude, and I don't think anybody was putting enough fuel in them. They just kept running lean, and then finally I think everybody put some fuel to it, and that's when it started running. But then you start running out of time to back up records. But I think at 314 come around pretty easy after they put some fuel to it.
Yeah, the 314 was awesome. I seen a video of it.
Unlimited Open. This is where pretty much all the bikes can run. At Joshua and Almeida on Miller's, and Tony's gonna kill me when I'm trying to say that name, but it's Miller's bike.
Yep.
Matt Willis. I guess Matt rode his bike in that class.
Huh.
So, but he got second, and that's several bikes in that open class.
Yeah, that was a big field.
So where did the 290 passes come from? We know we had two bikes that dipped into the 290 zone. K-Dub, where did we see that at?
It was kind of like the first round of Saturday. I think it was kind of around the first and second round of Saturday, kind of midday, maybe to the afternoon, and it was almost back to back because it was Tony's bike ran a 293. No, I take it back. So Tony's bike ran a 294 in the afternoon, and then like right after that, KNT ran a 298, and then it was like back to back. So it was like holy crap! And then a little bit later in the night, that's when Tony's bike ran a 293, and it sucked too because when Tony's bike ran a 294, I was on tower side, so I just took the video of the tower side bike. If I would have been on the other side, I would have got Tony's bike when he ran that number. So I was kind of mad at myself. So I got Tony's bike in the background of one of my videos running.
Oh man!
Well, the corrected altitude. The corrected altitude went down, I don't know, 1,300 or so feet below sea level a couple of times, and
I believe
even during the day, if you can get those numbers, that if you get that corrected altitude down, the bikes run good. But the track always comes around really good at night. But you're gonna have with the dew falling, we always have a pretty heavy dew this time of year, and you're spitting out water grains. You know what I'm saying?
I always ran my best right around 7 o'clock at your track. So I always wanted whatever class, because back then we'd run class after class, and I always try to get my bike in whatever class was running at 7 o'clock. That was always my best number. Every week I was one to your track.
Well, it turned out to be a good race, I think. Now let's talk about the unfortunate parts from the race. David Turner suffered a accident in which he had to get flown by helicopter to the hospital, which he is still at, if I'm not mistaken. And he had a bunch of surgeries done. I think he had one just last night or this morning. And plus, how many days are we away now? We're like 2 weeks off now from when he had this accident. And the last update I seen was that they had to put the feeding tube back in with some he's on some meds. He's sedated right now just because of all the pain from the surgeries and stuff and just the broken bones. Jeff, you actually went and seen him in the hospital. I'm not going to ask about anything about what happened on the track or anything like that.
Right.
When you got to the hospital, what were you feeling like, and what did you see once you got there?
Well, so we never did go in and see him. When I went, I guess I'm trying to think if that was, I think I went on a Monday or Tuesday, I can't remember. But I went over and met Ricky and Ashley and this, I think it was, I think some of the families went home. There's probably 4 or 5 of them now, but there were like 12 family members there. So we didn't get to go in. At the time, Ricky and Ashley had not got to see him. I think every time they would try to sneak in to see him, they would make them leave. So since then, I just carried Ricky yesterday to Jackson. I met Ricky and carried him to the airport so he could get back home and get back to work. But, sadly, David hadn't been able, they've been keeping him sedated, so he really hadn't been able to wake up. And Ashley had messaged me today, and I'm not really understanding exactly the text, but I don't know if they're keeping him sedated or if he's starting to wake up on his own a little bit. But there was some hand squeezing and stuff like that going on today. So, all I can tell everybody is David's a good guy. He's a good racer. He's at pretty much every event that we have. He's always supported the PSDA, and man, all we can do is keep praying for him. And it's going to be I don't know if it's how long it's going to take for him to be able to get home. And we was talking to Ashley when I was there the other day, and I said something to Mr. Mike Goodale, and I'm going to try to make a phone call here, but we need somebody to, and I guess the audience listening, we need somebody to help us get on this Angel flight. So when it does get time for him to get home, getting in an airplane, and getting him home that way compared to a 16, 17-hour ambulance ride is not going to be the way to do it. We're trying, that's what I told Mr. Mike. He knows some people up there, and I know some people down here, and we're going to try to work it from both ends. And then I think Ashley has maybe a couple of connections that she told me about. I'm not going to say on here, but she has a couple of connections that somehow or another, there's some way we're going to get him home in an airplane. We got to figure that out. We're going to need some help with that, I'm sure.
Well, I believe he'll get home by airplane. If you don't know exactly where to keep up with David's recovery, there is a David Strong Facebook page, as you can see on the screen right now. They post on there every day about his updates. You can also find the links to the GoFundMe, where you can donate to help David pay for these medical bills. You can also PayPal directly to his family, his wife, and whatnot. They actually just posted, and of course, we're recording this on Monday. This episode's coming out on Halloween. So the latest post from this morning, Monday morning. This morning we had an amazing few visits, although his surgery was pushed back and it's still to be determined when they will reschedule. He is weaning down on the vent settings and pain meds. He was opening his eyes when we were talking to him, alert but not fully awake, and they even had the TV on for him. By our next visit, he was off the vent and off fentanyl. He was on humidified oxygen with his trach, but breathing on his own. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
He's on the up for sure. I'm not as close to him. I just know that he's a hell of a guy. First time I've ever met him. He told me don't leave his camp hungry. If I did, it was my fault. So I know that he is a great dude and he always takes care of people for sure. And very unfortunate whenever I heard about this news. And it's just K-Dub. It was a crazy thing to see for sure.
Yeah, Dave's up from Michigan with us. With he's racing our track for me and Stephanie race. I mean, he's a good guy. He'd always help us out. Like if I needed parts, go over to his pits. I mean, even earlier that race, he was loading parts to Sean and Steph to help figure out what's going on with one of their bikes. I mean, he's rode my bikes before, like rode my 18. So if I never needed a test jockey, he'd always get on the bike and ride it for us. He's a great rider. He used to. He used to have this 4 mil Cub that won everything. I mean, for like 2 years solid. I mean, he's a great guy. It just sucks that happens because he'd always be there to help us out. It just really sucks, you know.
For sure. And Steph, you got anything you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with K-Dub. You know, that he's always been willing to lend a hand whenever we need it. Like he said, he was over at our pits that day, you know, helping us try to figure out what was going on with my 775 bike, and just really unfortunate to see something like this happen.
And he's really close to your brother, is he not? And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure was it your brother's bike that it unfortunately happened on?
Yeah, they've been really good friends for several years now. So
Well, I know Bryson, you know, through the grapevine, I heard Bryson wants to do some things in honor of his dad, put that engine that he had the accident with in a different chassis and possibly go faster in honor of his dad, which would be awesome because I know Bryson is probably getting more eager than anything to get back out there just to do it for his dad now. So,
yeah, they got that, like you said earlier, they got that GoFundMe. I mean, I try to donate to everything, every GoFundMe I see for the racing community because who knows if it's ever going to happen to me, and it's just great to help each other. They're going to have T-shirts coming out pretty soon that they're going to be on the Dave Strong, just trying to raise money for the family. So I hope everyone who's watching this can, if anything like 5, 10, 15, 25 bucks, if anything you can afford, it's going to help the family because Louisiana to Michigan, that's not going to be cheap.
Well, you know, in our sand drag community, everybody, it's not like a lot of the other drag racing or roundy round or anything else. You don't see fights. You see people feeding each other, working on each other's bikes, loaning parts. I mean, I get stuff going out of my trailer all the time. I remember loaning it to somebody, and I don't even remember who I loaned it to. I'm always, you know, we're always giving spark plugs or loaning sprockets, loaning tires. You know, the sand drag community our people that we all know are just like, I mean, look at where we're from. I'm 2 of y'all from Michigan. I'm sitting here in Louisiana, and our family is spread out. But I mean, we may not see each other very often, but when you see each other, it's just like you talked to them yesterday. I mean, just fall right back in. Just, you know what I'm saying? It's family. It's a different feeling going to a sand drag event with the people than it is doing something else.
Absolutely. The bonds that you build at these races are unlike any other. The community is always there for each other. Speaking of the David Strong shirts, Ricky Thorpe posted that's kind of like what it will look like. David Strong. Shout out to Tevin Adams and Logan Zimmerman for helping make those happen. Shout out to Ricky as well. Our thoughts and prayers are with David as he goes through this long recovery. It's going to be a challenge for him, but I mean, if I'm sure all you guys know more than I do that he's willing to face that challenge if that means he can be there for the rest of his family and his friends as well. So, well, I don't have anything else. We are thinking about David Turner, as we said, one more time, the GoFundMe, the PayPal. You can find the one more time, the David Strong Facebook page to keep up with everything, all of his updates. We are all thinking about David still after the just 2 weeks past now. And that's going to wrap it up for the recap of the Pro Sand Drag Association race down at Northeast Louisiana Sand Drags. Jeff, what's something that we can look forward to next? You guys are heading out west again. Tell us about that a little bit.
So let's see, we're going out to Don Valley. I believe it's February 4th through the 8th. Esteban had contacted me before this event, and was wanting to run the week of Valentine's Day, and I didn't think that was probably such a good idea. Didn't want to get the guys in trouble going racing.
Get all the single dudes out there
Yeah.
racing.
So we opted out on that weekend, and I threw in the third weekend. I said, what about this weekend? And Esteban said, well, my sister's getting married, so that throws that out. So congratulations to her to get married. But
absolutely.
So I said, well, what about the 4th through the 8th? And we don't really want to get. I don't really want to get the PSDA running in March, because you want to save that. You don't want to run in March and then us running at Shelton's in May. Mm-hmm. So we try to keep them spread out a little bit so they're not really close together. But so that's the reason we end up running in February. And it could be a little bit hard getting out there, but when you get out there, it's always about like here 70s during the day and usually 50s at night. So I'm excited.
When you're leaving Michigan, you're leaving a blizzard and you're coming to that weather. So
I know 3 years ago we went out there and it was terrible. Me and Rick run through an ice storm. Gary Burrows wrecked his van and trailer and didn't even get to finish making the trip. It was a bad deal.
That was a bad trip, and I was I think that was not. I don't think we went out to that one.
I kind of think you did. I think you were there. You may not have been.
Yeah, because Lone Star did try to leave a week early to beat the storm, but then they didn't. So
didn't work.
I remember because I told Cody like, hey, yeah, let's go to PSDA race. Never been one before. And he was like, we don't need to go all 5 days. And I was like, absolutely, we have to.
That's the whole fun about going.
Yeah, like we don't have bikes or anything. We're just coming to take videos and pictures and stuff. And then I regretted it. We should have waited until Thursday, because that was the drive there. The time there was fun, and then the drive home was the absolute worst. The absolute worst.
I hate that drive.
I bet yours is probably worse than mine.
Jeff had a fun drive home this year when he came back from Dome.
Yeah, I felt a really nice tug on the motor home. And I looked back and I said, well, we just blew a tire. And I noticed the trailer was leaning. I'm like, no, I think we blew all 3.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, dude.
Hey, I keep 2 spares on wheels, and I usually keep 2 spares that's not on wheels. And I blow a tire now and then, but I always just pull up on a block. And you can't pull up on a 4x4 block when all 3 of them. I sat for 4.5 hours. Joseph Evans come by and he got his floor jack out and said, I think we can get it up. And after about 10 minutes of trying, I said, you just might as well go on home, and because Joseph had to get back to work. Mm-hmm. So we sit 4.5 hours and wait on somebody to come out and bring air jack. But guess what I got in my trailer now? I got an air jack. I don't go nowhere without that air jack now.
Oh yeah. Well, Steph, any plans to go to Dome?
I'm not sure yet.
Sean's
Sean's hiding right around the corner.
No, he's not. I tried to get him to come on here, and he was being too shy.
That one time in 4th of July, he was like right around the corner, and I just bombarded him. I'm like, "Hey, Sean."
Hey, Steph.
Sean seemed sort of interested. I remember when
Steph.
he was asking some questions. So who knows?
Yep.
I'll probably go to Nashville and pick up Nick Nim's bikes like I did last year. So just keep that in mind.
I will.
Keep it in mind.
I went and picked up their bikes last year, met them halfway in Nashville, brought Nick and Eric's bikes, load them in my trailer, carried them out to Dome, and come back and reload them back in Eric's trailer and met them in Nashville again. We're gonna plan on doing that again. So
yeah, I'll let him know.
Well, I got one more thing. One more question for you, Jeff, and then we're actually it's more of a suggestion, really. I got another track for you guys to add to your list of PSDA races.
Okay.
It's pristine, and this is totally not a joke, but this is I couldn't even get it out. Franklin County four-wheelers would be perfect for ATVs. And K-Dub knows, yeah.
My buddy Benny Steele, I mean, he loves 2-strokes. I mean, when you send him snaps, you revving the piss out of your 350. I mean, he definitely does not send you a reply saying never send him that message again. And they're so welcoming too. Like, I mean, Steph can attest to Cleves people. They're so
Yeah.
welcoming to four
They-
show. I mean, four wheelers.
Yeah, they're us wingdingers.
They're called,
Man.
but they're called Franklin County four wheelers, so
I
it'd be
know.
perfect to have the PSDA go
There you go.
Yeah.
We gotta talk to
I
your
mean,
boy Damian Bowers a little bit more. I mean, we need to get Damian on board of this.
And he was just on, but I doubt. First of all, that
him
was
and
just
old
a
Mooch
joke.
would love that.
That was just a joke. I don't think that ever happened. That may not be the best idea for PSDA to go to Franklin County, but you never know. But
You never know.
no, I was just kidding. But no, this will cover up the recap of the PSDA race at Northeast Louisiana Sand Drags. As Jeff said, they are heading to Dome Valley in February, and I'm sure we'll have Jeff back on pretty soon to talk about that as well. Steph, thank you once again for joining us. It was very nice, very pleasant surprise as well to have you on.
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. And K-Dub, always appreciate your time as well. Do not go anywhere. As always, this segment of Paddle Talk is brought to you by Racing in the Dirt. We will be back with our final segment of this episode. We'll be talking with our own Caleb Mings about the race out in Avenal Sand Drags. Don't go anywhere. This is Paddle Talk. Hey, folks, this episode of Paddle Talk is brought to you by RacingInTheDirt.com. Racing in the Dirt has parts, equipment, and apparel for all your off-road competition needs. Racing in the Dirt has just one mission, and that's to help all of their customers compete at their very best. With over 30 years of motorsports competition experience, they know what it takes to maintain that competitive edge, and they are equipped to keep you there. On-site welding and fabrication, incredible selection of parts, and experience and helpful staff as well. You can search for their products on their website. They have wheel adapters, hub kits, brake hat kits, brake and hub components, suspension parts, air filters, Racing in the Dirt knuckles, axles and parts, Racing in the Dirt chain drives and parts, limiter straps, parachute setups, side-by-side and UTV parts. So you can get in touch with them at 920-693-2000. Once again, that's 920-693-2000. Once again, you can get a hold of them by calling them at 920-693-2000. 920-693-2000. And don't forget to check out their website, racinginthedirt.com. That is racinginthedirt.com. And don't forget the UPS Daily. All right, we hoped you enjoyed that segment with Jeff Guillot, K-Dub, and Stephanie Roth. That was a great time with those folks. Great bunch of people. PSDA race was a great time. I did want to mention, we forgot to talk about it. And before I mention it from the PSDA race, we're joined by Caleb Mings. Now we're going to talk about the Avenal Sand Drags race that just happened this past weekend. But real quick mention, because I forgot to mention it with Jeff and everybody. The turbo chassis giveaway went great. Shout out to Randy Manuel for getting that turbo chassis. That thing was sweet. Caleb, before we go with Avenal, what do you think about that? And Caleb looks a little different this episode as well.
Yeah, Billy finally did me in. He killed me, folks. I am Caleb's ghost with you visiting today. They gave me, the length of this podcast segment to be here on this earthly plane. So we'll see if we can get this done. And to answer your question, Billy, turbo chassis giveaway was awesome. I also want to give a shout out. There is another turbo chassis giveaway. I believe all the spots are filled with that. And that is all 100% going to go to help David Turner.
I forgot to mention that yesterday as well. Yeah. Yesterday. Everybody's just whatever. Yeah. I forgot to mention that with Jeff and Steph and Kata. But yeah, the other turbo chassis giveaway. It's already full, so
it's already full. So I mean, not much good talking about it, but it is kind of a cool thing that they're doing. So, I mean that's somebody's going to get a cool chassis out of that deal, and like Jordan said, all the proceeds are going to help David. So let us know. Keep cool stuff like that coming in. If you guys have something cool that you want to do to help David Turner out, let us know. We'd love to promote that and stuff. And trust me, we tried to get on the turbo chassis deal, and literally everything filled up before we could even repost it. So we'll let you guys know the winner of that at least a future episode.
Absolutely. Now, let's get into Avenal Sand Drags here. Caleb was on site. He showed up on Saturday, wasn't there Friday. Let's talk about Friday real quick and what you missed. Heard there were some light issues, but they still got the race done. What do you know? What can you tell us?
Yeah, so as far as the light issues go, I'm not exactly sure what happened, but they were having issues with one of the lanes. They had some sensors go wonky, so they were able to get it fixed. Just a little bit delay on them starting the racing on Friday. I've set back a couple hours. From what I was told, they did not have a green light in the right lane the entire time we were out there. Not a big deal because, obviously if you are waiting till you see green, you're late. So
Absolutely.
Wasn't a big deal. And it was only in that right lane, but no other timing issues that I saw the rest of the weekend. So everything went off really well. Little bit of a light turnout on the top eliminator side of things. So we'll get to that in a bit, but decent turnout, I think, for all the car and bike classes that were out there as well.
Can you see at all?
I cannot see anything. I literally... I can vaguely make out that you are a T-Rex, and that's just about it.
That's funny. I'm a dead T-Rex. Remember that.
Dead T-Rex. Sorry.
Yeah. Lucky I wasn't a chicken. Anyway, so what happened on Saturday at Avenal?
Oh, well, here we'll get into Friday first. Just for I did miss out on 395 index. Chris Wells in his buggy took first in that class over Kevin Williams. I love seeing Kevin out there. He always jokes about being retired, and maybe this is his last race, but he keeps going out there and getting first and second across the board. So I think Kevin's still hooked to the sport of sand drags. So he took second place there.
Chris.
Yeah. Chris did not do quite as well in the Friday Pro Gambler. He went out, I believe he told me, in the semifinals. Friday Pro Gambler, a very familiar face in the gambler classes out here West Coast, was Charlie Johnson in the Mopar Jeep, taking the win over Kenny Hayes. Kenny was back out. Ooh. And he was pulling double duty. He had his Dune Jeep that him and Linda were sharing and doing pretty great, going rounds with that. He also brought back out his old drag Jeep. It's not painted right now, but they put a little bit smaller motor in it. And his whole deal is that he wants Linda to be able to drive that. She can foot brake it. She's a beast at foot braking now. She's killing the tree, just foot braking that Jeep. So
nice.
He's going to finish getting it painted. He said that it should be done and ready for next year sometime. So we should see that machine in all of its glory. And, we know Kenny, he makes some pretty looking cars. So that was your Friday Pro Gambler. Motorcycle Gambler Friday night. We saw Marcus Rydell taking the win over Bobby Marshall. Bobby, kind of a local up there. He's got a Honda 450 that he rides. And then the kind of last thing that they do on Friday nights is the Quick 8 full-size truck. It's the quickest 8 trucks will make the field. It is still a dial-in class, so it's not true heads-up racing with that, but you got to be quick enough to make the field. And we saw Blaine Oliveira take the win over Paul May, Ford over Chevy in that final.
Oh, well, that's a win for the Ford guys right there. Look at that. All right. Well, that was Friday, right? What's going on? What
so that was Friday.
Saturday?
They did have some qualifying stuff, which I forgot to mention. That was Ron Moran. They only ran one qualifying pass because of the late start. And Ron Moran was qualified number 2 with a 287.1. Definitely having issues trying to slow that thing down. Brian Drace in his small block powered T-Bucket altered ran a 321.7 to be the number 1 qualifier after day 1. Moving into Saturday, they go into their sport classes. So they kicked off the day with their sport cars. And we saw Kevin Williams come out on top this time in Sport 1 over Chris Hellmuth. Sport 2, we saw Blake Caldwell in his nice flat fender Jeep taking the win over David Parker. And then Sport 3, which is a class that I love to see out there at the Avenal Sand Drags. So this is where you see street legal trucks, farm stuff, super like stock, slow side by sides, like We're talking the ranch side-by-sides, the actual utility, UTVs. And we saw Sport 3 Wyatt Andrew in his stock, or I don't know, I take it back, not stock, but street legal square body Chevy taking the win over Joe Mendez. Then they had their sport motorcycle classes. We saw Motorcycle Sport 1, that's your 450 and quicker class. David Markle took the win over Mike Miller. And then Motorcycle Sport 2, Joseph Flores took the win over Hunter Neil Cook. Moving on, they did a Saturday Pro Gambler. And we didn't see either of the people that were in the final from the Friday Pro Gambler. April Soares took the win over Chris Wells in that Saturday edition of the Pro Gambler. And then they did do kind of a cool thing because they were so far ahead on Saturday due to the lack of eliminator cars and alcohol cars and stuff like that. They got with some of the bike guys and said, hey, we're going to have some extra time here. Do you guys want to do same kind of deal as the Quick 8 full-size truck? They put together a Quick 8 ATV class, same sort of format. So it was the quickest 8 were brought into the class, still a dial-in class. And we saw David Markle double up there. So he took the win in the Motorcycle Sport 1 and in the Quick 8, and he did that over Marcus Rydell.
Well, that is really cool to see Avenal offering another ATV class whenever they have some downtime. So there's still hope for those guys out there. Cool.
Yeah, and it was, it was something that was cool that people are already there. They say, hey, we're going to get done early today. Track can make a little bit of extra money for this and put on a cool show. And all the guys I talked to that were out there in that ATV class, they really dug it.
Cool.
The end of the day on Saturday, Ron Moran did end up taking the number 1 qualifier away from Brian Drace. He ran a 3:13 with a 4. Brian Drace still qualified number 2 at that 3:21.7. So Ron was able to slow down, but he was kind of flip-flopping there. He ran a couple 80 passes, and then he ran that 3:13 and had a little bit of issues there. So he was either on the fast end or the slow end of that 295 index.
Only 2 cars for top eliminator. What's up with that?
Only 2 cars. Yeah. I mean, I know that there's a few guys that were saving their rides for the Dome Valley Championship finals. They're going to be coming up here. We're going to be talking about that soon. There's a few people that have cars that are broke. Some of the Avenal regulars, Craig Brewster, I was speaking with him. He's actually converting his car right now to run asphalt in Top Dragster. So his plan is actually to pull double duty. So he's going to run it on asphalt in the Top Dragster category and still run it in Top Eliminator on the sand. So kind of a cool throwback with that. But I'm looking forward to seeing. It seems like there's a few people that have been kind of engaging in both worlds with that, which is pretty cool. That's where sand drags, saw a lot of that back in the 70s and 80s. People would run the sand one weekend, swap the tires, make a gear change, go run pavement. So I know he was doing that.
Another do now. It might be the new fad now, but we were just talking with Willard Hammond earlier in this episode that dragon drives are becoming real popular. Maybe transport and drive.
Yeah, definitely not quite gonna be a dragon drive with that dragster.
The other, who knows?
Yeah, that'd be cool. That
would be wild. Well, who won these races on Sunday? What else you got?
Yeah. Let's get into the Sunday stuff. So Sunday, they had the motorcycles starting out the program. Motorcycle Pro 1, David Markle getting the triple up there. So he got 2 wins on Saturday and a win on Sunday.
David.
David was killing it. IDK Racing definitely represented. Second place, Burt Boatman. So, I mean, they basically swept all of the quicker bracket classes there. Motorcycle Pro 2, Marcus Rydell having a fantastic weekend, getting the first place in Motorcycle Pro 2. He did that over, and I'm going to always butcher it. I'm sorry, Tony, but Tony Marconi, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. That is that's the guy that's got that GSXR 1000 trike
Ooh.
conversion.
Well,
Yeah.
shout out to Mr. Merkin.
After that,
Sorry,
they
I
went
said your
into
name
the
wrong.
kids' classes. No, that's all
Yes.
good. I think he knows, and trust me, as many times as I go and talk to him, like, Tony, remind me how to pronounce your last name. He says it, and then I remember for a second, then I forget. So shout out to Tony.
Mercenani. Who knows? Anyway, shout out Tony.
Shout out to Tony. And then we moved over to the kids' classes. They had split up into two classes. Not quite as many junior dragsters. You know, we see a lot more of the junior Jeeps and some of the UTVs and stuff, but even they were a little bit light at the Avenal Fall Nationals. So they just split into two classes, which I kind of like seeing that. Why separate, the ATVs and the junior dragsters? Let them all mix in, make the classes a little bit bigger. So they had basically an older kids class, which was the juniors category. Tanner Cornell took the win in his trophy cart. If you guys have seen those, they're like a little mini trophy truck kind of build. And he took the win over Caden Fulton. And then they had the youth class where Scarlett Soares, taken after her mom there, take the win over Colton Thornton.
Nice. Well, shout out to the kids, future of the sport.
Yeah. Shout out the kids. They had another thing we posted up. Kenny and Linda, they went out there and they do what they do every fall nationals out at Avenal because it's so close to Halloween. They had piñata. Kids got a chance to take a whack at it and stuff. So they got some candy thanks to Kenny Hayes and Linda there.
Were you concerned because the piñata was also a ghost?
It was, I was feeling, as I was slipping away into the afterlife from Avenal, I'm like, oh man, that feels like me. Sure enough, here we are.
That's what I felt from it too.
It's a hate crime, really, is what it is.
So
I'm gonna talk with Kenny about that.
That's how you die.
That's how I died.
They stuff you with candy
my
and
spirit,
beat the candy out of you.
That's what it was. That's what it was.
Exactly.
So they had some fun with that. They then went into the top limiter final round. Ron Moran got the win over Brian Drace. They came out a couple more times, just put on some exhibition passes. Brian was trying to step it up a little bit. He wanted to put it into the 3 teens, didn't quite make it into that. Ron was trying to get out there in his Wild American dragster and get into the 2s with it not being followed by an 8. Also didn't quite see that happen, but it was cool to see them make some extra passes just to wake up the crowd and everything.
Well, I really like Brian's car.
It's sick.
It is.
Yeah.
Sick. I have a really dope photo of it from my first trip to Avenal. It's an awesome car.
Very cool car.
The
one where he broke the wheelie bar?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
He's fixed that problem now, thankfully.
Yes, it's hard to move.
So after they ran that final, they went into the pro car categories. Let's go just run down the list here. Pro 1, Chris Helmuth taking the win over Chris Wells.
Oh my God, Chris Wells didn't win?
No, he even said, dude, like you're jinxing me. Said I was jinxing him because you know what? He also took second place in Pro 2 to Stacy Bolton.
Oh my God. Well, shout out Stacy. I know Mike was happy.
Yeah, Stacy was freaking killing it. I will say, it was well-deserved win over there against Chris.
As for Chris Wells, you need to do better. I expect better out of you.
And then Pro 3 to wrap up the evening was Charlie Johnson over Joey Weaver.
Hell yeah. Shout out to Charlie Johnson.
Yeah, he had a good weekend there too, taking two first places. So a lot of people going a lot of good rounds. It was a good time out there at Avenal. And a little bit early on Sunday, which was nice because man, you get pretty tired out there and a long drive home for me to get back to SoCal. So it was nice that we wrapped things up a little bit quicker and got out of there.
Yeah, well, an early weekend's not bad. The circumstances of the early weekend you definitely don't want. You definitely want more cars there to enjoy the time, but it still seems like everybody enjoyed their time at Avenal Sand Drags, and that's really really all you really could ask for whenever you go racing. So I'm glad everybody enjoyed themselves. Definitely. And I guess that'll wrap it up for us here on this 49th episode of Paddle Talk. I hope everybody has a happy Halloween. Go have fun trick-or-treating tonight. And as always, this episode is brought to you by RacingInTheDirt.com. And next week for episode 50, we will be talking about Atoka Motorsports Park, Dome Valley Raceway, Greens Raceway in Virginia, and I'm missing another one. Southern Powersports Drag Racing Series finale at South Georgia's Motorsports Park. That'll be all on next week's episode. And yeah. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in.
The anticipation is killing me, Billy.
What?
The anticipation is killing me, or killed me.
Oh my God. That's all right, baby. See ya. Oh, wait, I'm falling. Wait, I gotta get up. On. Hold on. Oh, God, I dropped the mouse. Hold on.
You better keep this in, folks.
Oh my God, I can't.
Dinosaur down, dinosaur down.
Oh my God, I'm fine. All right. Oh my God, I dropped my mic.